Okay, we are live. பரவாயில்ல, அவ்வளோ காய்த்த சவுண்ட் கேட்கலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஒவ்வொரு தடவையும் செக் பண்ணி பார்க்க வேண்டியதாக இருக்கு ஒய்யால. கோபமாக இருக்கு. நெக்ஸ்ட் டைமுக்கு வந்துட்டு 1080p மாற்றி பார்க்கலாம். ட்விட்ச் ஒர்க் ஆகணுங்க. Okay, no problem so far. ஐயோ, இதில் போய் மாட்டல. போகலாம்ப்பா. ஒரு முதல்ல கண்டென்சர் போட்டு ஸ்டோரியை கண்டினியூ பண்ணும். கமிஷன்லாம் தானே முடிஞ்சிடறாங்க. ஓகே, மோஸ்ட்லி ஒரு தேவையில்லை. என்ன முடிஞ்சு?
Thank you for add ast.
Skyward, scatter. Star snatch. Skyward, scatter.
ஓகே, இதெல்லாம் கண்டினியூ பண்ணுவோம்.
Skyward, scatter. Skyward, scatter.
participate in the trial.
Yeah. Skyward. Scatter. Skyward.
Okay, what's happening?
What do we do? The whole situation is so confusing. Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks a lot, Challo. லைட்டா சின்னதா பஸ் நாய்ஸ் வந்துட்டு இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Finally, you're back.
பார்த்தோம்.
Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence, but don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session.
Oh my god. Yay.
Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
Oh my god.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Uh-huh.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
House of the Hearth.
The House of the Hearth?
Oh shit.
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord.
இதெல்லாம் என்னது ஐயோ ஸ்டோரிஸ் பண்றேன்
I suppose this was almost too easy. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
conceal his identity. Child வரோம்னா ஆமா.
Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
Oh my god.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Permission to Subi. You would
In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your
Order.
request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
சோனியா காரி சிரிப்பா. Bye.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Pilot.
Hi bro.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I know if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to. Right. So, you be the judge. I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that,
course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately?
Oh.
During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
Oh.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice, which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Story ever explain பண்ணுமா bro?
Well, that explains
இது
why
எப்படா முடியும்னு இருக்கு bro எனக்கு.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course, we must know.
இந்த ஸ்டோரிலாம் முடிச்சா bro? கேட்கலாமா?
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
இது மொத்தமும் ஏதோ ஃபில்லர் மாதிரி இருக்கு எனக்கு.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations,
தரேன் சைல்டு வரட்டும். பாப்போம்.
watertight defense. Huh? Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Line statement. Line is headed to the chamber. அதான் ஒரு காரணத்துக்காக தான் ப்ரோ நான் விட்டு வச்சேன் இந்த மாதிரி கொஸ்ட்லாம். ஒரு டைம்ல விளையாடுவோம் திருப்பி பார்க்குற மாதிரி அந்த மாதிரிலாம் ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் பண்ணணும்னு எதிர்பார்க்கல. டூ இயர்ஸாக விளாண்டுட்டு இருக்கேன் இந்த கேமை. இந்த ஆர்கான் கொஸ்டின்ஸ்லாம் எதுவும் முடிக்காம அப்படியே வச்சிருந்துட்டு கடைசியாக முடிச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஸ்டோரி கொஸ்டின்லாம் இன்னும் நிறைய இருக்கு.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial.
When
last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Return the positions. Account of events you can identify the points in their statement. Any bonus. Is your refuted to bonus. Refutation and unknowing the truth.
Countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the Opera House, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Lenny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident. And there
Oh
you
my,
have it.
my.
That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Looney
So, Channapatti
experienced
pasta.
and what he saw.
Identify loopholes. Lenny claims that he headed to the chamber containing the water's core upon entering the tunnel. And this. இது சொன்னா ஏன் போனான்னு கேட்பானுங்களே. No one left the opera house within the magic show. After the incident happened, only those who had was. இதை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சொல்லுவோமா? என்ன இலவும் தெரியலையே. ஆஹா, இதுவும் இல்லை. அட, select evidence to refute Lenny. வேற என்னடா எவிடன்ஸ் இருக்கு? Lenny attacked Halsey. Countdown begin. Okay, Lenny attacked Halsey, then doubts on. Okay, identify loopholes.
Seems this won't produce a particularly effective rebuttal.
Still slice within the chamber. Houses of the water's committee. Oh, வேற என்னதாம்ல அது? ஒரு மண்ணும் புரியல எனக்கு. ஓ,
According to Lenny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
okay.
Lenny went
Okay.
to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth.
Actual truth. இது என்ன? Really not the cover out. Cover out into the crime had already taken place.
Lenny did not take.
Okay.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent.
Haha, okay. அதான் ப்ரோ பண்ணேன். கடைசி ரெண்டு ஸ்டோரேஜை பிடிச்சி ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல உள்ளது எனக்கு சுத்தமா புரியல.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Wasn't it awesome?
நீ வேணும் ப்ரோ பைமான்.
You believe that?
That's right!
premeditated fashion. However, you say the Cowell bumped into Lenny by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lenny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him!
ஆமா அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு திருப்பி விடுறதுக்காக ஒரு கொலை
Of mine
இருக்கலாம்ல.
managed to turn things around. Oh, well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't.
Your claim has now become my weapon. இந்த லைன் நல்லா இருக்கே. என்ன பண்ணோம்? Information about missing ladies. She has the missing persons. She's a spider and can watch. Okay. Select.
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? Paimon thinks there's some...
Oh. சரி ஆனவரே. irrelevant. இது எல்லாமே irrelevant-ஆ? Select.
Are you sure we don't need to give this more...
அப்போ இது ஒன்று தான் left. போடு.
That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well, to think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The murderer was. Gear icons in the interview to check the corresponding case questions. The magic to carriage in now. Close below to answer.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Okay. Hypothesis correct.
That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was, in fact, Cowell, the deceased!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Select any clue to be
No
revealed.
one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So, where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Lenny as well. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So, there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper.
Okay. Theoretically,
Halsey's clothing was in the.
போடு.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at. The sound we heard made.
Hypothesis, yeah.
No one entered or left the op. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant.
Year 57 bro.
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment.
How can we get
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The sound we heard may have come.
Okay.
The deceased's name is. The sound we heard may. The sound we heard may. Lenny was not in the tunnel. It would have been tough for both. Halsey's clothing. No one entered or.
Yo, என்னையா இது?
The sound we heard may. The sound we heard may. Lenny was not in the. No one entered or left the.
என்னடா அது?
Halsey's clothing.
Hey. Who was the prime suspect currently?
The
Okay.
deceased's name is.
ஓ, இந்த இருக்கா கேள்வி எல்லாம்?
The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant.
Where did the missing Halsey go?
It would have been tough for both people. The deceased's name is Cowell. It would have been tough for both.
Adding. Okay, the criminal must have understood the methods behind. This person was strange last completely. Okay.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Hey, yo.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Oh.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents. But do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
No.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Hold on a second.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Okay. Detailed
The
information.
vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Oh. ரைட்டு இவ்வளோ நேரம் போன மினி கேமில் வச்சு விளையாட்டு பண்ணிட்டு இருந்திருக்கேன் நீ.
It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being... Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind.
நல்லா பண்ணுறீங்களா டே?
If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick. Most magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him.
Okay.
But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
Oh.
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes.
இதுக்கு மேல தானா ப்ரோ?
Their rope. The way
இது வரைக்கும் எந்த ஒரு அமேசிங் இல்ல. இது வரைக்கும் கிளிக் பண்ணி கை வலிக்குது எனக்கு.
The scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request.
தலைவன் என்ட்ரி தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன் சைல்டு.
Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased Cowell.
Okay.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids.
Star of the show.
The keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain...
Prophecy then, huh? Umala.
It's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait!
நீ என்னடா செல்லம் சொல்ற? என்னப்பா சொல்றீங்க? ஒண்ணும் புரியல இப்ப.
Trust me.
Order! Order!
Order.
It is undeniable that further examination
This
of the
is
deceased's
order.
personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Lin,
So upon the prophecy on the
here's
true.
your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal heart! That one didn't make sense at all.
ஆமா.
Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Liquid. Transform the compounds. Into some compounds. Yeah. மறுபடியும் தான். Who is the prime suspect currently? Okay.
The deceased's name is Cowell.
What item did the culprit use to control the timing of the dissolution?
The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box? Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but wasn't. The rope that strung the water tank up was... I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
Okay. What item did the culprit use to dissolve the sea?
The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box.
Okay. What item the culprit used to hide mechanism behind the crime?
The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and cut. As such, the focus here is on the water and not the tank. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick. But what?
அட ஒரு ரெண்டு கரெக்டா அப்ப What item the culprit used to control solution?
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time.
What item the culprit used to hide the mechanism?
I remember there was something else within the inner
அது
layer.
ஏற்கனவே செலக்ட்
Lynette
பண்ணியாச்சு
was in the magic box on stage the entire. The rope that strung the water.
இதுவும் சரியில்லையே Okay. What item the culprit used to control?
Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick.
End the dissolution.
The rope
Okay.
that strung the. Lynette was in the magic box on stage. I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. Lynette was in the magic.
Hey, come on, Ra. மறுபடியும் அதே வா Okay.
Now it seems like the hook rope. I remember there was some.
ஆமா ஆமா ரொம்ப லேட்டா இருக்கு அதான் யூடியூப்ல வந்துட்டு ரொம்ப லேட்டா இருக்கு ப்ரோ ட்விட்ச்லாம் கரெக்டா இருக்கு அது என்னன்னு தெரியல கிட்டத்தட்ட 30 செகண்ட்ஸ் கிட்ட வந்துட்டு டிலே இருக்கு ஏன்னு தெரியல
In the original plan, Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
It does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
பயமானே
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What?
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What? That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you.
Oh my god.
Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close. Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent.
ஏன் நீ ஒண்ணுமே கேட்கலையே
Having made modifications to the props beforehand. His accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea.
புரியுதா? Yep. ஆர்கானாச்சு. ஆமா, அதுக்கு பின்னாடி ஒரு ஸ்டோரி இருக்குல. அந்த ஸ்பாயிலர் நான் ஒழுங்கா பார்க்கல.
Lenny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Lenny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Oh, shit.
Oh no.
Eyo.
Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence.
bro, ரொம்ப ஹைப் கலப்புறீங்க.
Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale.
Oh shit.
Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss,
I must
ask you not to shout and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Lenny, if you would be so kind.
Oh.
But what in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
சொல்றத பண்றா. தங்க குட்டி சொல்றதுல.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila.
Boy, போடு.
Sorry for the interruption.
Okay.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
என்ன சங்கம் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்த நீ?
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl. I admit it.
ஆனா கொய்யால அப்போ.
What? Why?
Traveler side தப்பு இருக்கு, இவ side தப்பு இருக்கு அப்ப.
My name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Lenny's show was going to be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one.
Oh.
That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief.
Oh.
You even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, I thought I would in the end front of it, but then the number selector chose me.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுக்க துரத்திட்டு இருந்தவங்க காணா போயிட்டா திடீர்னு.
Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down.
வேற லெவலா இருக்கு ப்ரோ உண்மையில.
Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's perspective.
Identify loopholes. ஐயோ. கேள்விலாம் கேட்காதா அதில்? Enter number set. This device used to. சரி சும்மா கிளிக் பண்ணுவோம்.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
Oh, that sound. Okay, vera.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lillian and Cowell.
ரெண்டு பேருக்கு சண்டை வந்ததுல உடைஞ்சது. ஓகே.
Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time.
அந்த Dress எங்க இருந்து கிடைச்சது?
Expect of an experienced thief.
Okay.
And it's Ace Detective time on time.
அந்த பாக்ஸ்க்குள்ள போய் ஒளிஞ்சிட்டு இருந்திருக்கா.
Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
இது நிறைய கேள்வி இருக்கு பாப்போம். அந்த ஒன்று இந்த கயிறு வந்துட்டு எவனோ நெருப்பு வச்சு எரிச்சு விட்டு கீழே விழுந்த மாதிரி இருந்தது அந்த பாக்ஸு. வேற இந்த ப்ராஃபஸி அது இப்போதைக்கு ஃபேக்குன்னு ஆயிடுச்சு. வேற என்ன இருக்கு? இன்னொன்று யோசிச்சேனே. சரி அப்போ மதப்போம்.
She would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
சரி ஓகே. எல்லாம் ஓகே.
Story. Bravo.
லெனி எதுக்கு அந்த வென்ட்டுக்குள்ள போறானே இவனுமே கேட்கலையே.
Now then, Lady Farina, Do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What?
Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Hydro Dragon la summa.
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case at least can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared
not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Story who
I
entered?
think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes?
I...
I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which, when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
கொய்யால யாரா அந்த பாஸ்?
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Including the robot. Wand solved.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. Still, let me thank you again for
doing it
to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
A knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth?
Knave.
She's your father?
Father.
That's right. And since we're here,
Father.
I was wondering,
bro,
would you mind hearing a
Father yaru bro? Father
It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
Aristocrat.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too.
Yeah, boy.
As if fate was on our side, we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who.
Bro, where bro?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. They have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
So what happened?
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood. And the knave, standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the one who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
ஆமா ஹார்பிஞ்சர் ஆஃப் தி பட்வி
She has her own plans.
வரேன் என்ன பிளான் நான் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறேன்.
Permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis's power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. Everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the knave, has their roots in Fontaine.
Por favor.
And we will always defend our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to
extremely delay bro.
Stealing a gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
என்னத பண்ணி தொலைறதுன்னு தெரியல.
It's all right. I understand.
ஐயோ செகண்ட் கிளிக் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
Bye, Linny.
பைமானு ஓகே
Skyward.
ஹாய் चलो.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappear. Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for
okay, bro.
now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
No, if you say so.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm if Boss Navi is treating Camp Paimon in.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal.
Ah. First act completed. இது வேற மறைக்குதே இங்கிட்டு போ ஓகே ஹோட்டல் டி போர்டு what's this hi ஓகே இப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆக்ட் தான் கம்ப்ளீட் ஆயிருக்கான் அடுத்து லைக் தி ஃபைட் மூன்லைட் மிஸ்டர் இயர் ஆக்ட் 1 இவ்வளவு நேரம் போயிருக்கா அப்பா குக் பண்ணிட்டானுங்க ஸ்டோரி கோஸ்ட்ல இன்னும் ஆக்ட் 2 கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணணுமா லெவல் 8க்கு 4 நாவியா சொல்லத்துக்கு ஐயோ இன்னும் இவ்வளோ அன்லாக் பண்ண வேண்டியது இருக்கு லூப்பஸ் ஆரிஸ் உன் கோஸ்ட் ஆக்டிவ்ல தான் இருக்கா சைனோ கோஸ்ட் முடிப்போமா இல்லைனா யார் கோஸ்ட் இப்போ ஆக்டிவ்ல இருக்கு சைனோ மைடா மைத்தம் ரோயினியா ஃப்ளோரின்டே ஓகே சைனோ ஸ்டோரி போலாமா இல்லை sense of solitude நெசமா ப்ரோ 2 இயர்ஸா விளையாண்டுட்டு இருக்கேன் ப்ரோ ஃபுல்லா வந்துட்டு ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸுகளோட ப்ளே பண்றது மோஸ்ட்லி ஆன்லைன் இருக்கிறதப்போ சுத்திக்கிட்டு தான் இருப்பேன் அப்போ வந்துட்டு லைவ்லாம் போட்டது இல்லைன்னா சரி இருக்கிறதோட இருக்கிறத அப்படியே லைவா போட்டுறோமேனு தான் வருது சேனா குஸ்ட் போயிடலாம் as you wish let's go ஐயோ இந்த இடமா ஒரே ட்ராமடைசிங்கான இடம் அரணரா கோஸ்ட் ஐய் போச்சா நல்ல வேலை சாவடிக்கல போச்சா சவுண்ட் கேக்குதே Oh.
Is this all you got? Seems even less than last time.
What difference does it make? If you see something you like, buy it. If not, then keep walking.
They've been cracking down on us lately, so we don't have much on hand. If you see something that catches your eye, then now's your chance. There's no telling when we'll have more.
What does the academia think they're doing? All right, I'll take these here. Let me see what else you have. I don't see any real gems in this batch. It's all pretty ordinary stuff. Whatever, how much do I owe you?
150K. Show us the Mora, and you'll get the goods.
Put the Mora down and your hands up.
It's Sino! When's he ever gonna let up?
Hey, forget the goods! Let's split!
But don't forget the Mora!
Done! Not so fast! You can't escape with Paimon on the case!
Yeah.
What is this? He's got backup now? Doesn't everyone say Sino works alone? I don't like the looks of this. Either way, it's gonna be a tough fight. Any ideas?
It's over. It's not like we're making a big cut anyway. I'm not losing my life here.
Huh? Did they really just give up like that?
Just like the
Bayam.
They're not deep in the circle, just dealers at the bottom of the chain. All right. I have one question and one question only. Where did you
dad jokes la dipanla.
Well, the pickup location is different every time. The boss tells us where it's gonna be and that's it.
And when is the next batch coming?
I don't know.
Normally, we should have received a shipment 3 days ago. The stock we have right now is from 8 days ago, which is why there isn't much left.
I know exactly why they didn't receive their last batch. 3 days ago is exactly when I started my investigation. I suspect who's ever running this whole thing knew that I was coming. So they cut all contact with these dealers. When you were trying to escape, you said something about me working alone. Where did you hear that from?
Are you kidding? We've known your name since day one in this business. The boss warned us to watch out and even gave us info about you. But here we are. I guess we never stood a chance.
They already knew all about me and were trying to avoid being detected from the very beginning. These small fries are the only ones they leave out in the open. And no matter how many we catch, it won't further our investigation. If only we had another lead. Like a merchant who sells large amounts of canned knowledge.
Huh? Oh, you mean someone like
Dory.
Do you have a potential suspect? You'd better...
Whoa! Judgment?
That's right. I won't turn a blind eye on any dangerous suspect.
Oh! Sounds like we shouldn't ever let Sino meet Dory.
I see. Anyway, I'll think of a way to deal with these two and then continue gathering information. If you manage to learn anything, you can find me a caravan rebot. And as for you, I don't ever want to catch you buying canned knowledge again.
Sariyana tension bro.
If you possess any unused knowledge,
நிறைய விஷயம் இது வந்து உழுவும் டோரி இதுக்குடா வருதுன்னு இருக்கும்.
Immediately.
Okay, I got it.
யாருமே யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டானுங்க எதுக்கும் யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டானுங்க டோரி.
Hey, what's with the attitude, mister?
What, you got a problem with that too? Listen, buying canned knowledge is a deal between two people, the buyer and the seller. We don't need people like you butting in on our business here. Think about it. If the academia is hoarding something as convenient and useful like canned knowledge, then they must have been planning only to use it for themselves. Am I right?
The academia has clearly published the potential dangers of canned knowledge. I don't like having to repeat things. And besides, I'm sure you wouldn't listen anyway. I just hope you understand that your actions are what fuels the smuggling of canned knowledge. If I ever catch you again, I will personally see to it that you are punished.
Dad joke போடுவேன் ஓடிரு.
I need to go now.
கடிச்சோக் செய்யணும்.
You think you can scare me?
You think you can stop me?
Why don't we go talk to Dory? She's got loads of connections and might be able to tell us something about all this. If Paimon remembers correctly, she's usually at the palace of Alcazar's-Array. Let's go!
Alcazar's-Array. அந்த நெத்திலி பொடியை பிடிக்கணும் இப்போ. What's this? இடத்த காலி பண்ண டோரி.
I see. So that's the latest scoop. Good thing you didn't rat me out. Otherwise, who knows where I'd have to be hiding to avoid attention. No idea. Sorry. I've already cashed out of the canned knowledge business. Huh? You mean you stopped selling it? That's right. With so much canned knowledge flooding the market, it was becoming impossible to fetch decent prices anymore. Besides, it seems that group of smugglers has practically taken over the market. It's a little rule of mine to never fight for a share of someone else's market. If I'm gonna make Mora, it's gonna be the lion's share. Plus, with regulations getting as tight as they are now...
Characters okay, sir. Enter the character, bro.
Sounds like we came all this way.
You know, பாதி நான் அப்கிரேட் பண்ணல bro.
Well, not completely. Granted, I don't know who's behind all the smuggling activity. But since you didn't sell me out, I'll let you in on what I do know. After all, those smugglers have really crossed the line, butting their way into the market like that. I hope their luck runs out soon so that I can take over. I mean, so that the industry can become more fairly regulated. Hey, you just want to make more business for yourself. Don't underestimate its value. Think about it. You can gain all sorts of knowledge while bypassing the troublesome process of studying. Naturally, that makes it a product worth a high price. Of course, not everyone needs that kind of knowledge, but in a market as big as Sumeru, there is plenty of demand. Plus, the cost of production is relatively low, so even if dealers have to cover transportation costs, there's still an enormous profit to be made. Then why does the academia prohibit selling canned knowledge? Being able to gain complex knowledge and become a scholar with the snap of your fingers does sound like a dream, doesn't it? But everything in the world comes at a price. Gaining knowledge is a complicated process. It requires learning, thinking, and practice. Even when it comes to my own business, I have to go through a lot of preparation before I put anything out for sale. But with canned knowledge, one may simply skip all the hassle and get whatever they need to know immediately. That inherently leads to at least two potential problems. First, you'll accept the knowledge as factual without a second thought, and you'll find it very hard to forget. This means that if the knowledge is flawed, then it'll be very difficult to correct. And second, excess use of knowledge capsules over an extended time diminishes your ability to think. You'll end up becoming like a library that can only store knowledge. Oh, that does sound pretty dangerous. Traveler, you used canned knowledge before. Did you feel any negative effects? Of course, using it sparingly is not an issue, which is exactly why I used to sell it. It's just like how medicine can be used to cure diseases, but can also do harm when overused. It all comes down to balancing the right amount. Back to the point. There'll be consequences if the sale of canned knowledge by those smugglers is left unchecked. And what's worse, you're playing right into their hands by focusing only on the canned knowledge that's made its way into the market. As far as I know, their real purpose is to distribute information about the Court of Desolation. That's where the real business opportunity is. The Court of Desolation? What's that? A rumor has it that it's a site of ruins from the age of King Deshret. It's said that with the treasures inside, one can see beyond life and death. but any research of the ruins is strictly banned by the academia. Word on the street is that there'll be an auction taking place in the desert. They're auctioning rare canned knowledge, some of which is related to the Court of Desolation. Once I heard about the auction, I began to suspect that all the canned knowledge popping up on the market is just a diversion. I'd wager that their real target is the Court of Desolation. Because studying those ruins is not just a simple matter. It requires knowledge spanning several fields. So, if they're aiming to quickly assemble a research team, canned knowledge would be the best solution. As for the auction, chances are they're trying to attract and scout out anyone with interest or expertise on the subject. On the other hand, no one can say for sure that they will ever succeed in finding the Court of Desolation. So, they might as well just make a fortune while they're at it by hyping up the related canned knowledge at the auction. Sounds to Paimon like we better head to the desert and see the auction.
That's right. And now that I've shared all that valuable info with you, it's time to introduce our limited edition desert travel kit. It comes complete with a map straight to the auction location. As I said, I've got it. 500,000 mora per kit.
Oh, yeah?
That's quite the bargain. We'll even offer a 50% discount for little Paimon's travel kit.
What? That's super expensive.
No need to worry, little one. Sino's the one heading this investigation, isn't he? I'll be sure to bill all the expenses to him. All you'll need to do is tell him to go to the Merchant's Guild and pay the bill once the mission is completed. Just, be sure to not send him directly here, though, okay? That would leave me completely in the open.
சோலோ டோரியை முடிச்சு விட்டுருந்தீங்க அவ்வளோதான் முடிச்சு விட்டீங்க போங்க நான்
Never leave any debt unpaid. And I can only imagine the funds he's allocated for investigation.
We'd better get going. If Dory keeps it.
Okay. Sino the intel. எப்போ ப்ரோ வேற லெவல் ப்ரோ இப்போ புல் பண்ணீங்களா சில இன்னும் டெவலப் பண்ணல ப்ரோ மோஸ்ட்லி மோனோவை விட நல்லா பஃப் பண்றான்னு நினைக்கிறேன் இப்போ இது வரைக்குமே 70 லெவல் தான் போட்டிருக்கேன்
The Court of Desolation.
பாப்போம் இப்படி ஃபுல்லா அப்டேட் பண்ணி தான் பார்க்கணும் எப்படி அடிக்குறா நான் எப்படி பஃப் பண்றேன் அப்படி
But is it reliable?
We also heard that the Court of
வேற லெவல் ப்ரோ வேற லெவல் எத்தனை விஷயம்
Partially.
எனக்கு வந்துட்டு 58 விஷயம் இருந்தது ப்ரோ சிலன் புல் பண்றதுக்கு கரெக்ட்டா ஒரு 3 விஷயம் நான் சிங்கிள் விஷயம் போட்டேனா 55 விஷயம் பாக்கி இருந்ததுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் அதுலயே வந்து C1 விழுந்துச்சு எனக்கு C1ங்கறனே சிலன் விழுந்துட்டா அதுக்கப்புறம் மிச்சம் இருக்கிறதெல்லாம் போட்டேன் ஒரு 30 விஷயம் கிட்ட வந்துட்டு சிலிண்டர் வெப்பனை எடுத்துட்டேன் ஓகே
They are not some ordinary ruins. However, if they are using the canned knowledge as a way to move information and
இதுவரைக்கும் போன பேனர்ல என்ன கரெக்ட் இருந்தது
then I suppose your conclusion does hold some validity.
அரே வெஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டேன்
Regardless, we need to go into the desert.
ஏற மாதிரி 41 விஷயல
Less in recent years, but there are always those who attempt to do so, both inside and outside the academia. After all, legends claim that whoever obtains the treasures inside can see beyond life and death. Or even death is often
போன பேனர்ல நிறைய ரிசர்ச் பண்ணோம் ப்ரோ யாருக்கு
though they're fully aware that the chance of
முலானி
being true are slim.
அது எடுக்கலாம்னு பார்த்தேன்
They hold tight to
அதுக்கு அப்புறம் கினிச்சி ஒரு கேரக்டர் ஃப்ரெண்ட் எடுக்கிறேன் அப்படினா கினிச்சி
That's why some continue to research it.
ஃப்ரெண்ட் எடுத்துட்டான் கினிச்சி அதுக்கு அப்புறம் ரெண்டு பேரும் வச்சு விளையாடிட்டு இருந்தா நல்லா இருக்காது அப்படி சொல்லிட்டு அந்த பேனர் ஸ்கிப் பண்ணிட்டேன்
It's hard to track the source.
அந்த ஒரு பேனர் ஸ்கிப் பண்ணது 58 விஷயம் சேர்த்தோம் ப்ரோ
Do you know where the auction is taking place? Good. We'll go investigate. But before that, we'll have to get rid of these people tailing us.
Huh? People tailing us?
That's right. Let's begin to leave town and see what happens. I'm sure they'll reveal themselves as soon as we make a move. Don't worry. I'll make short work of them.
That's Sino for ya. But we can lend a hand too, you know.
Suspicious smuggling case. Leave the caravan and repart. Okay.
Skyward! Scatter! Bring it!
Hold it right there.
Juba.
Heading to the desert, are we? I would think twice if I were you.
இன்னொரு மிஷன் ஒன்னு இருக்குங்க ப்ரோ டெசர்ட்ல. ஜெட் மிஷன். வா.
That doesn't matter.
மிஷன்
All
இருக்குது.
you need to
இதோ
do
ஸ்டோரி.
is to inform you that it's not too late to turn back.
அதெல்லாம் இப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்தப்போ அந்த டைம்ல தான் விளையாட ஆரம்பிச்சேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
I've heard a lot about you.
அப்புறம் ஒவ்வொரு ஆர்கான் கோர்ஸும் வந்துட்டு இப்போ 5.1 வந்துருச்சு. 5.1 வரப்போதா.
Unless you turn around right now, I'm afraid that even you won't return unscathed. And as for you two, why bother sticking your noses in trouble that doesn't even concern you?
That's right. We won't just sit back and do nothing.
Ha! Have you really thought it through?
எப்படி bro?
You're just doing this for recognition, are you, Sino?
மொத்தமா ஈவென்ட் முடிச்சதுலயா?
He is willing to compromise as long as you just walk away. He could, for example, reduce the amount of canned knowledge on the market. I'm sure that would help your investigation appear to be successful enough. On top of that, he's willing to give you a cut of the profit. So you see, you get both Mora and a boost to your reputation. I can't think of a reason why you would pass that up.
Is that so? Well, I can't think of a reason why I'd accept. I've heard enough. Get out of my...
Sorry, no can do.
No can do.
Happy to oblige.
Cross over.
Where do you think you're going?
Surrender!
I'll be back.
சைனோ வேற லெவல் ப்ரோ உண்மையில. என்ன ஸ்வாட் வச்சிருக்கான்? இதே ஸ்வாட் தானே என்கிட்ட இருக்கு. ஏய். குட் ரைட்.
Come on, you coward.
Skyward! Scatter!
This doesn't change anything. You're in over your head, Sino. There will be others coming for you. You'll regret it. Let's get out of here.
No need. Even if we apprehend them, there'll be little information to gain. Besides, it might also be a trap. I apologize for bringing you into this dangerous mess. Just being associated with me will inevitably cause you to become targets as well.
Bro, எவனாலும் வர சொல்லு bro, என்கிட்ட ஹூட்டா இருக்கு.
Wait, hold on. There's no way anyone could sleep without closing their eyes.
You'd be surprised.
அடுத்து ஹூட்டா பேனர் வருதுன்னு கேள்விப்பட்டேன். பைரோ ஆர்கான் வேற வரப்போறா.
They may even stay hidden in some dark corner for a very long. Yes.
C1 எப்படியாச்சும் எடுத்துறணும். ஹூட்டா.
I was carrying out a mission with one of my superiors.
ஆமா bro, நாட்ல எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரேஷன் பண்றதுக்கு போன ஈவென்ட் முடிச்சது பேர் என்ன? போன ஆர்கான் கோஸ்ட்க்கு 500 பிரைமேஜம்ஸ் தந்தாங்க. இப்போ எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரேஷன் கோஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரேஷனுக்கு 72 நாள் டைம் இருந்துச்சா? அது ஒரு 400 பிரைமேஜம்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இதுக்கப்புறம் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ஈவென்ட்ஸ்லாம் வர முடிக்க வேண்டியது இருக்கு. அச்சி ஹூட்டா C1 எடுத்துறணும்.
Was he okay?
He survived with a fractured wrist. It took 2 months for him to recover. But luckily, there weren't any further complications. Last year, he transferred to an administrative role for personal reasons and no longer participates in live missions. His name is Taj Radkani.
Taj Radkani.
Very well respected Matra.
I'll
have the chance to meet him someday. Anyway, our mission will be dangerous. I'm already used to such grueling conditions, but I don't want to see you get hurt.
Don't worry, Paimon will stay alert. We'll see danger coming a mile away.
Good.
Exploration அப்படியே லைட்டா விட்டு வச்சிருக்கேன் அங்க கிட்ட இந்த மாதிரி செஸ்ட்லாம் இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா பின்னாடிலாம்.
And once this is all over,
எல்லாத்தையும் முடிச்சா பின்னாடி முடிக்க எதுவுமே இருக்காது. அதனால விட்டு வச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன் எல்லாத்தையும்.
Hidden dangers.
Quest complete. Spider-Man. Teleport கொடுத்தா அப்பவே வந்திருக்கலாம். ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்களோட கோஆப் ஆடுவீங்களா ப்ரோ? எப்போ விளையாட ஆரம்பிச்சது ப்ரோ? Air 55
We still have a long way to go, so you'll need to hang in there for a while longer. This is not a good place to rest anyway.
Okay, but don't you feel hot too, Sino?
Of course, but I'm accustomed to these conditions.
Care to share any tips?
Just try to stay focused. Use your willpower to support your mind. Take one step after another.
Okay, if you say so.
Just
look around. It's just sand and desert. There aren't any monsters for miles around. Whoa!
7 monthsல 55 வந்திருக்கீங்களா ப்ரோ?
Watch out. Something's happening about that.
2 years ஆலண்டு இப்பதான் ப்ரோ நான் 57 வரேன். அதாவது நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்து 45 லெவல் வரைக்கும் கூட ஒரு 3 monthsல வந்துடலாம். 3 months கூட அதிகம் தான். 1 month கூட வர முடிஞ்சா. ஆனா அந்த 55ல இருந்து 60 இருக்கு பாருங்க ப்ரோ. அதுவே 1 year ஆயிடும். இப்போ வந்துட்டு இப்போ லெவல் வர கூட்டி வச்சிருக்கானுங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். 60 இருந்தது இப்போ 65 வரையும் இருக்கா? இதுதான் தெரியல. பார்க்கணும் அதை. என் ஃப்ரெண்டு 55வது லெவல் வந்துட்டு புது ஐடி ஆரம்பிச்சான். அந்த ஐடியுமே 55 வந்துருச்சு இப்ப. இப்போ வந்துட்டு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஐடி வந்துட்டு 58ல இருக்கான்.
Someone doesn't want us to show up at the auction. These scorpions were sent to keep us away.
அதேதான் ப்ரோ.
Surrounded by desert as far as the eye can see. If we were killed out here,
நான் ரெண்டு அக்கவுண்ட் வச்சிக்கல. ஒரு அக்கவுண்ட் வச்சிருக்கேன்.
This place is super dangerous. Good thing we didn't let our guard down.
Something's not right. There are no roads in the desert.
ஆனா கையில 4 ஐடி இருக்கு. ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் ஐடிலாம் சேர்த்தனாகும். இதுல இல்லாத கரெக்டர் அதுல இருக்கும். அதுல கரெக்டர் இதுல இருக்கும்.
Stay still.
எங்கடா ஜூம் பண்ற?
Here's the answer. They must have planted this on you. Huh? What? A miniature tracking device made by the Ksharawar. They can use this to discern your approximate location. But this device wasn't licensed for mass production. Where did they get it?
Ksharawar.
Someone from the Ksharawar also be involved?
Whoa!
They probably planted it on the Traveler during our fight with the mercenaries earlier. It was a frantic... No. Hold on to it for now. It might still be useful for us. Let's keep heading to the auction. It would be dangerous to linger here any longer.
Skyward! Scatter! They're back again! How many of them are there? This isn't good. Higher, pants on fire.
Squad வைப்பு. ஓடு. கோபப்படுறதா தான் ப்ரோ அந்த கேம் ஜாலியா இருக்கும் உண்மையில. சும்மா போயிட்டு இந்த மிஷின் முடிக்காம ரெசின் மட்டுமே முடிச்சிட்டு இருக்காம சும்மா எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரேஷன் இந்த மாதிரி செஸ்ட் திறக்கிறது மட்டுமே நல்லா இருக்கும். அதில் தான் லெவல் வந்ததே நான் எந்த ஸ்டோரிஸும் முடிக்காம. நல்லா டைம் எடுத்து விளாண்டது. ஒன் ஆஃப் தி ஃபேவரட் ப்ரோ கென்ஷின் இம்பாக்ட்.
Yeah, not a single soul. Maybe they're on break right now or something.
We didn't waste any time getting here after we defeated those mercenaries. They shouldn't have been able to give any warning of our arrival. But even so, they still knew we were coming.
Aw, what should we do now?
We searched the area. They couldn't have moved all the knowledge capsules so quickly. There might still be something left for us to find.
All right, let's take a good look around the area.
Did you find anything?
No, nothing in particular.
அதே தான் ப்ரோ. No time to play.
Possible there weren't many but don't worry. I have another idea.
ஜாப் பண்றீங்களா ப்ரோ?
Come back and meet me here after some time has passed. I'm sure something will come up by then. They packed up in a hurry and didn't have time to carry off all their goods. They won't just leave them here. Once they think we've left the premises, they'll be back to pick up their belongings. We just need to make sure the tracker goes far enough from here to make them assume that it's safe to come back.
Oh, Paimon gets it. We'll lure them out because they'll think we've left. Okay, we'll start heading away and leave this place to you.
Yes. And don't worry. If they dare to return,
Bro, college,
I'll...
Bring it.
Okay, okay.
Ugh, so tired. We've probably gone far enough now, right? Yay. Let's rest for a little while before we go back to find Sino.
இருக்கதோட என்ஜாய் பண்ணிக்கோங்க ப்ரோ. அதுக்கப்புறம் ரொம்ப கஷ்டம்.
It's probably about time for us to head back to the auction. Let's go. Maybe Sino's finally found some leads.
Yeah! Skyward! Scatter!
There's no way.
Skyward! Scatter!
Done.
Yeah! Scatter!
பார்ட் டைமா ப்ரோ? அப்போ அம்புட்டு தான் முடிச்சு விட்டீங்க போங்க தான்.
Shudder! More speed.
Oh, looks like So you're the bad guy behind all this, aren't ya? Alright, tell Paimon everything you...
I didn't act immediately when he showed up. Rather, I laid low and observed for a while instead. He is not the primary instigator, but he is most likely one of the more important dealers here.
Oh.
Am I...
Yes, impressive. You certainly live up to your reputation, Sino. If I had any idea you were still around, I wouldn't have gotten so greedy.
நான் வந்துட்டு
What do you mean by that?
MBA graduate bro.
Once everyone
MBA graduate பண்ணிட்டு இப்போ
canned knowledge dealers
graphic designer and video editor freelancing.
Obviously, there wasn't time to pack up everything.
நீட்ட சும்மா அந்த ஒரு மணி நேரம்
Left here unsupervised, I thought
யாருமே இல்லாத கடை டீயாத்துற மாதிரி லைவா போட்டு போவேன் அவ்வளவுதான்.
Good. You know, free merchandise is good business, but I suppose there's no use explaining it now.
You must know who's manufacturing and selling the canned knowledge, correct? Will you tell us willingly? Or...
No, I'll talk. But before that, perhaps we can take the conversation elsewhere? If we stay here, chances are that someone will see me with you. That would put both me and my family in danger.
All right. Where do you suggest we go?
How about my home in Aru Village? It should be safe there.
Fine. Let's head out. You can throw away the tracker now, traveler.
Listen, buddy, you better not try to trick us.
எவ்வளவு நேரம் ப்ரோ போகுது மிஷனே தூங்கிடுவான் போலயே சுமருனாலே இதான்ப்பா Hari.
Dad, you're back. Oh, you have guests?
This is my daughter. Why don't you run along now, dear?
Oh, okay.
Everyone knows Sino in our business, but let me...
Paimon is Paimon.
To be honest,
Paimon is Paimon.
Why is that?
Everything from the everyone will try their... And even if you
Everyone has their own reasons for what they do.
Here's some tea, Dad. And for the guests, too.
Right. I forgot to offer tea to our guests.
Don't mention it. And, I should tell you that our tea tastes kind of bitter, but I put some sugar in to make it a little taste...
That's my girl. Do we still have any sugar left? If not, I'll...
இது எனக்கு ஜூலாக் இருக்கும் ப்ரோ யோ
Yes, we do. Okay, I'm gonna go have a rest now.
Didn't you say that everyone's in it for the massive profits? That sure doesn't seem to be the case for you.
Actually, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. My daughter was born with a chronic disease, so she has a relatively weak heart and lungs. Even slightly strenuous exercise can cause her to faint and prove to be a life-threatening risk. That's why she never really had any friends to play with, and why she locks herself up in her room most of the time. She has to take lots of medicine, and it doesn't come cheap. As for me, I was just an average merchant. I would wake up until one day, someone reached out and...
Selling canned...
That's right. With all the mora I made, I could finally afford medical treatment for my daughter. There are many others like me. Smuggling canned knowledge might seem like an unforgivable crime to you, but to us, it's a means of survival. I wanted to tell you all this so that maybe you could understand and change your mind. Please, stay out of this, Sino. Give us a way to survive.
Oh no. That means that if we prevent the sale of canned knowledge, his daughter will...
I must get to the truth.
ஐயோ
I can find someone to help treat your child.
ஐயா ப்ரோ ஞாபகப்படுத்துறாருனா
I
ரெக்வெஸ்ட்
cannot turn a blind eye to the smuggling.
பாதியோட விட்டு வச்சிருக்காங்க.
Completely different issues.
I somehow knew you would say that. But having your word to help your daughter is enough.
Traumatize.
Since you insist on continuing the investigation, you should have a look around my home. You'll find some goods I received just recently.
I think everything will become clear to you once you see them.
Whoa! Look at
Yes. Small producers couldn't possibly support such a large quantity of goods. Could the
Huh? Look! These seem different from the other knowledge capsules we've seen.
Yes, that would make sense. Wait, what's this?
Some sort of making we've never seen before.
Yes. It's a Matra seal, indicating that the goods have passed Matra inspection. I started to suspect that someone in the academia might be involved when I found the tracker earlier. But how they could ship so much canned knowledge out of the academia was still a mystery. The pieces have now all fallen into place. With this Matra seal, goods can leave the academia without undergoing a second inspection. No wonder they don't want me to investigate. It turns out that a Matra is behind this. Even I find it hard to believe. Could I ask you for a favor, Traveler? Since all this canned knowledge came from the academia, then it's highly likely that the knowledge regarding the Court of Desolation originated from research files stored within the academia. If we can enter the... But, considering my current status, if I suddenly show up at the academia now, you'll need to be the one who checks the records. I'll write a...
Sure thing! Leave it!
I'll also keep working here in the meet. We can get more information.
இன்னும் முடியலையடா. Yeah.
Skyward! Scatter!
Hello, we meet again.
Hey bro, what's up?
Have you managed to find Sino?
பதிவுல நான் பார்க்கலையே.
I read the letter.
It's alright.
Even I don't usually have authorization.
Forbidden
That's
research.
However, but summon. Follow me.
The restrict.
Repository to gather information.
Okay, I understand. Since Sino is vouching for you, I suppose we can. But I'd suggest.
Yutaiba. Deus the division the secret.
Huh. So this is the restricted repository. I never thought I'd see the inside of it. This is a first for both you and me.
There are many who, even though he's no, the files are over there. Just make it quick.
இங்கவே sealed materials, the court of deflection.
Whoa! There's a lot to read here. Have you found anything yet?
மூர்த்தடா நாடுகாணி.
It reminds Paimon of his former partner.
His former partner. That would be Taj Radkani.
Taj
Not
Radkani.
far off.
What? Taj's son went to prison for researching the Court of Desolation?
Why do you sound so surprised? You're a much.
It's just that they arrested him in secret, so it was never publicly known. All I knew was that Taj's son was taken to prison. It's not just me. I bet even Sino didn't know about it.
No. You've heard about Taj, right? I know Nabil has. I would say he used to be Sino's only...
Ah, right. I heard Sino mention that before. But one day, Taj suddenly decided to retire from active duty, and I wonder if...
Taj was already very well, so in Mortadic, then he had Taj arrest shortly after. Since then, Taj has been periodically coming to the repository. He'll hold the files from his son's research with a remorseful look on his face.
I had no idea.
That's awful.
Wait, Don't tell me you're starting to suspect Taj. Impossible. But this is Taj.
But if you claim that the canned knowledge was originated because he was
Ama bro.
so many files. However,
but even
according to though I don't. Do you have any questions?
Paimon's kind of confused.
முதல்ல பின்னாடி வந்துட்டு ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர் ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு OBS அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு அதுல ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் ரீஸ்ட்ரீம்னு ஒன்று இருக்கும் ஒரே சிங்கிள் டைம்ல ட்விட்சுக்கும் யூடியூபுக்கும் வந்துட்டு ஒரே டைம்ல வந்துட்டு கேட்வே பண்ணி விடும் ட்விட்ச்ல இருந்து கரெக்டா எனக்கு வருது யார் மெசேஜ் பண்ணுவாங்க ஆனா அந்த யூடியூப்ல இருந்து வரது மட்டும் ரொம்ப ஸ்லோ அதை எப்படி சரி பண்றதுன்னு தெரியல ட்விட்ச்ல என்னன்னா அது இப்போ 6 mbpsக்கு மேல எடுத்தாக்கும் அந்த ட்விட்ச்ல காமிக்காது அதே 6 mbpsல வந்துட்டு நான் யூடியூபுக்கு ஸ்ட்ரீம் பண்ணேன் அதுதான் இப்போதைக்கு பெரிய இதா இருக்கு இதனால குவாலிட்டியும் கொஞ்சம் மட்டமா இருக்கு யூடியூப் எல்லாத்தையும் அலோவ் பண்ணுவான் ஆனா அந்த லேட்டன்சி மட்டும் வச்சிரும்
Excuse me. Have you seen any large shipments of...
Huh. Well, yes, but the academia consumes...
Right, but...
Brother. Olympian மாதிரி இருக்கே.
Excuse me. Have you seen any large...
No, not that I'm aware.
ப்ரோ டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷன்ல டிஸ்கார்ட் கம்யூனிட்டி லிங்க் வச்சிருப்பேன் முடிஞ்சா ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்கோங்க ப்ரோ சும்மா ஏதாவது அப்டேட்ஸ் போட்டுட்டு இருப்பேன்
Excuse me. Have you seen any large shipment?
Huh? Why do you ask?
I'm just checking to ensure nothing unusual has happened.
Well, I can't say it's unusual, but I did notice something. There's a Kashar researcher who's been making frequent shipments recently. When I asked him about it, he said they just contained a bunch of old worn-out machines. But he's been making...
And you did...
Well, the boxes were stamped with the Matra seal.
ஆளே உடுங்கடா போறடிக்குடா தூங்க போறடா நானே
I wondered about the seal once, thinking that maybe the man named...
Possible. There must be some sort of mistake. There's no way Taj would have... No. I won't believe it. Taj is an honorable man. Someone must... Wait. I know another Matra who works with Taj. I can ask him to let us speak with Taj.
அது ஃபைத்தம் ஸ்டோரி முடிச்சிட்டானா நல்லா பண்ணல
As I've already told you, I don't have any way to contact Taj.
Two
Eremites showed up looking for Taj yesterday, before I realized, but...
A group of Eremites? Could Taj...
No way. Taj is just like Sino. They're considered heroes among the Matra. There is no way that he would... Fine.
Hey, don't let it get to you just yet. We'll get to the bottom of this once and...
All returns to silence.
Skyward! Scatter!
இதுக்கு எவ்வளவு நல்லா இருக்கு
So, this is Taj.
ஆனா நாட்லன் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்னுக்கு இவ சூப்பர் யாரு சிலோனன்
Well, what should we do then? Do we break...
தேன் ஷாயினையும் வச்சுக்கிட்டு அழகா எங்க வேணா தாவி குச்சிட்டு இருக்கலாம்
No. Wait, the door's unlocked. Well, anyway, we're still not sure if he's the real culprit. Probably not a good idea to go in without permission.
Hey, what are you
Right. What's this?
It's a paper full of names written on it. Oh, and a map. Nabil.
Yes. These are the transactions between the whole operation. I have a feeling that Sino might be unaware of what he's up against. There's no way anyone could face such a large organization on their own.
ஐயோ கான்டாக்ட் தெரியலையே இதான் ஸ்கிப் பண்ணிட்டு போகக்கூடாதோ ஏன்சியன்ட் மேப்
Taj really, I don't want to suspect him, but I also don't know him very well.
All right, we'll give these to Simon.
Let's do. All returns to suns. Parameter.
Skyward! Scatter!
Hey, பயவுல ஸ்டோரி முறா.
Well, Simon?
Taj, from what I remember, he is a straight-laced man.
So do you think...
I'm still not. I cannot imagine how devastating the incident with Mortada was for him. Nor can, whether it's out of love for his son or for other reasons. We have to see for ourselves to judge him. Or rather, that's right. It's clear that he had a hand in this case, yet he made no report of it. That's also why I need to see him. I must ask his reasoning and time is ticking.
Let's go. Dooram.
Skyward! Scatter! Skyward!
Perhaps one should invent some form of curial discernment mechanism.
இதுவா இது என்னது இதெல்லாம் எதுக்கு இருக்கு நானும் கென்ஷின் வந்ததுல இருந்து பார்த்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கேன்
Beg for mercy. Bring it.
இதுக்கு மேல போகணுமா என்ன
Scatter! Skyward!
ஐயோ கேரக்டர் மாற்ற இல்லையே நாட்டாலும் மட்டும் தான் மாற்ற முடியுமா அட கீழே தான் போசோம் காலி பயிலுங்களா போகணும் இப்போ in the court of resolution according to the instruction of the map. இதா இருக்கா ஐயோ ஐயோ பாடி பொருளே அப்படியே போகுதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் டிராவலர் பில்ட் பண்ணலையே பரவாயில்ல
There's still a long road ahead.
Very well. I shall put my official duties to one side for the moment.
What they do this time?
So this is the Court of Desolation. Are there really any treasures buried here? Oh, Paimon's kind of nervous. Could it be dangerous?
Don't worry. You'll be safe with me.
Surrender!
Another bro is
Look, these walls have definitely seen better days. Was there some sort of fight here? Let's keep going and see what we can find.
Oh, இந்த மிஷன் கடைசியான்னு கேட்டதுக்கா லேட்டன்சி ரொம்ப ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கு.
Is it just Paimon? Or did that passageway just rotate? It's not gonna start moving again, is it? Either way, we should be careful.
கொய்யா
Be still.
தூங்கிட்டு இருக்க. புல்லட்டு பாண்டி வந்துட்டு இருக்க. ஓகே ப்ரோ ஓகே ப்ரோ. இவ்வளோ அளவுக்கு அப்புறம் லேட்டன்சி மோசமா இருக்கு. தலை சுத்துது.
A passage! Hopefully that's our way in. That eye seems to be staring right at us. This place gives Paimon the creeps. You go first.
Puzzle. Marka சொல்லு, marka சொல்லு. Oh.
Kamisato on. Suiyu.
ஓகே பெர்பெட்டுவல் மெக்கானிக்கல் அரே அதுல இல்லாது அது அங்கயா இனாசுமால ஏய் இமான் தாஜ் மர்க்கர் நம்மள சொல்வாங்க தாஜ் பாய் இருங்க பாய் நெருங்க பாய்
Taj.
Sino. It's been some time since I've seen you last. I trust seeing the way here, you must be on the cusp of wrapping up your investigation, I presume. Even faster than I expected. Is it?
That's right. This case is nearly closed. Was it all your doing?
Yes, it was me.
Then explain why.
That's the difficult part. Let's just say I've changed.
I find that hard to believe.
Oh, really? Way I see it, every person will end. When you're young, I was the same. I never questioned my actions. I was completely... Murtada was sent to prison by my own hands. I set myself on this painful path. My son hated me till the day he died, and now I must live with that pain. I failed him as a father. But now I have a chance to make it right. A chance to reunite with him.
Oh.
The Court of Desolation. Here lies the key to overcoming life and death. The power to even bring the dead back to life.
So.
See this door behind me? I'm so close, Sino. If only you had...
Enough conjecture. In the end.
Since you're so sure, why don't you just let me open the door and see?
No. I sense danger behind that door.
I sense danger ahead.
There will be dire consequences the moment you open it.
I beg you, as an old partner, can you let me fulfill my last wish? Just... Surely you get it by now. Doing your job without mercy will only drive people away from you. I'm the prime example.
I don't overthink things. If there is only one way for me to defend my principles, then that is the path I will take.
Seems there's no convincing you. All right then. Let's see if your polearm skills have improved at all.
வாடா ப்ரோ நீ சண்டைக்கு வா. வாடா நீ வாடா.
This power is mine. As I thought.
Oh. செத்துட்டேன்.
Your strength.
You feel it, don't you? I'm stronger than you remember. I gained new power when I entered the Court of Desolation. This is only a taste of it. Once I open the door behind me, this power will be complete. Even life and death will have no grip on me.
Uh-oh. We have to stop this guy!
I won't let you open that door.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Perkada bro.
Be easy to stop.
Door open பண்ணாங்கறாங்க.
I'll do what I have to.
I still remember, even after all this time, you still haven't...
You haven't changed either. You left that list of names. All of this. I had my suspicions from the beginning, but I couldn't be sure until we fought. If he really had changed...
Bye.
Plan.
Seems our time is running short. Let me make this quick then. After Mortada died, my spirit was crushed. For a long time, I was hoping this reality was just some terrible nightmare. I hoped I would just wake up and be able to see his smiling face again. That is when I was approached by someone who wished to collaborate and find the Court of Desolation together. I did some investigation of my own and discovered they were part of a massive organization. People from every walk of life are involved. They are relentless in their search, pouring countless more into secret research, even sacrificing lives in hopes that the Court of Desolation would appear.
No wonder banning the research wasn't enough. A full-scale operation was already in motion.
I'm a flesh and blood human like anyone else, so I obviously hesitated and considered it. The thought of bringing my son back tugged at my heart, but in the end, I came to my senses. I suddenly came to a realization amidst my suffering. The Court of Desolation, a place that once drove people to tragedy, was still doing so even centuries later. As long as this place exists, people will recklessly seek it out, just as Mortada did, generation after generation, regardless of the cost. Let it be buried beneath the sand forever. Once the Court of Desolation is gone, there will no longer be anyone obsessed with seeking it out. That's right. I acted as if I had abandoned my convictions just so that they would cooperate without raising any suspicion. This was the only way I could find and destroy this place.
Oh,
that wasn't enough. I needed someone I could trust to bring the organization to justice. To add to the problem, the organization is so powerful that they...
So, you pretended to be the one behind all this?
Yes. I'm sorry, but now I am assured. You haven't changed at all. You are still as you always were, fearless, and making no compromise. Anyway, this place is collapsing. You must leave.
Wait! Aren't you leaving too? There are still loads of bad guys to catch outside.
His fate is already sealed. There is no life left inside him. He is like a candle with no more wick to burn. You planned it all from the very beginning, didn't you? Risking being treated as a traitor to collaborate with them. Sacrificing your own life to open and destroy the Court of Desolation.
Regardless, I made a grave mistake by allowing the smuggling and the research of this place. Let this be the final judgment on myself. I was always so busy with work that I never made time to fulfill Mortada's wish. Finding this place was his biggest wish. Since I'll be reuniting with him here, I can only hope he won't have anything more to hold against me. I'll leave all those people on the...
There's nothing to be sorry for. If you see Mortada, send him my greetings.
Goodbye, old friend. What?
Dad, why are they so strict with me? I'm always the only one who gets in trouble.
சின்ன பையன் கோபம் மாதிரி இருக்கு.
Just leave me alone.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Flashback.
Don't damage your precious reputation.
All right, Dad. Let's start over. By the way, I finally found an area of research I wish to pursue. Why can't you show even a little leniency? Why?
பைமான போறாங்க பறந்தே வருதுல.
Because we are Matra.
Damn. இப்போவும் இந்த 5 நிமிஷம் சினிமேட்டிக்ஸ்க்காக குயா
The Court of Desolation has
disappeared.
Just as Taj said, being buried in quicksand. To
அவ்வளவுதான் bro,
them,
முடிஞ்சு
their
bro.
only goal is to make massive profits off of dangerous research. That's an op.
We'll help too.
Thank you. But just leave. So?
4 days later. ஓ 4 நாளைக்கு நான் கிளாக் சுத்திட்டு இருக்கணுமா? முடிஞ்சு ப்ரோ. கேரக்டர் ஷோகேஸ்னு சொன்னீங்களா ப்ரோ? இது என்ன ப்ரோ? என்கிட்ட இருக்க கேரக்டர்ஸ் வந்துட்டு காமிக்கணும் அப்படிதானே? Bro. Okay. எனக்கு தூக்கம் சொக்குது. இந்த ஸ்டோரி வரையா இன்னும் தூக்கம் தள்ளுது எனக்கு. Okay. Speak greater than 30. Okay. Okay bro. Bro. முடிச்சிருக்காமோ. Mostly நம்மள்ட்ட இருக்க கேரக்டர்ஸ் behold. இன்னும் பாதி கேரக்டர்ஸ் நான் டெவலப் பண்ணல அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கு. ஆனா சார் எல்லாம் 5 ஸ்டார் கட்டுறேன். ஒரு பேருக்கு
One is fast on one's feet. Try to keep pace.
ஹீரோ இருக்க கேரக்டர்ஸ் மோஸ்ட்லி ஹூட்டாவை தான் நான் யூஸ் பண்ணேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஹூட்டாவிலேருந்து ஆரம்பிக்கிறேன். நம்ம டீம் காம்ப்ளே உள்ளதுலேயே அதிகமான கிரிட் டேமேஜ் இருக்கு வந்துட்டு இந்த ஹூட்டாவை மட்டும்தான். கிரிட் டேமேஜ் வந்துட்டு 205%. அது வந்து ட்ரிபிள் க்ரௌன் வேற. C1 தான். C1 கூட இல்லை, C0. C1 தான் எடுக்கணும். ஹூட்டாவுக்கு ஸ்பெஷல் வந்துட்டு பரமிக்கியா பப்பிலியோ ஸ்கில் ஆன் பண்ணனா வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். இது வந்துட்டு நம்ம ஹோல்ட் அட்டாக் பண்ணும்போது ஸ்டாமினா கன்சியூம் ஆகும். இது C1 எடுத்தனாக்கா அது கன்சியூம் ஆகாது. C1 வந்துட்டு ஒருத்தன்னு சொல்லுவோம் ஹூட்டாவுக்கு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுக்கும் வந்துட்டு எனக்கு கிடைச்ச கேரக்டர் வந்துட்டு கிக்கி தான் 5 ஸ்டார்னு. அதுக்கப்புறமால தான் எனக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 5 ஸ்டார்னு வந்தது ஹூட்டா. அதுக்கப்புறம் வெப்பன் வந்துட்டு சைனோட ஸ்டாஃப் ஆஃப் ஸ்கார்லெட் சைன்ஸ். இது வந்துட்டு கிரிட் ரேட். ஸோ உள்ளதுலே 80% கிரிட் ரேட்டு, 205 கிரிட் டேமேஜ். அடுத்த 5 ஸ்டார் வந்துட்டு அயாட்டோ. ஆயிட்ட வந்துட்டு அதான் அந்த ஆயிட்ட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுக்க அந்த பேனர் வந்துச்சு பாருங்க, அப்போதான் வந்துட்டு கேம் விளையாட ஆரம்பிச்சேன். அப்புறம் ஆயிட்டம் ரைடுன்னு வந்தது. இது 2.5 சம்திங் தெரில அந்த டைம்ல வந்துட்டு டபுள் க்ரௌன்னு ஒரு வந்துட்டு இன்னொரு க்ரௌன் போடல. அது வேணாம், மோஸ்ட்லி வந்துட்டு ஸ்கில்லு தான் தேவை. ஆனால் அவன்கிட்ட C6ல தான் வந்துட்டு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா 2 ஆயிட்டம் வந்துட்டு ஷேடோ மாதிரி இருக்கும் தெரியுமா, ஹைட்ரோ ஷேடோ மாதிரி. இது 2 பேர் வந்து அடிப்பானுங்க, அது வேற லெவலா இருக்கும். வந்து பார்க்க உனக்கு 30k டேமேஜ் பண்ணலாம் ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்லாஷுக்கும் C6ல. நெக்ஸ்ட் ஷாயுன் மோஸ்ட்லி வந்துட்டு என்னது எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரேஷனுக்கு தான் இது முக்கியமா. நான் எதுக்கும் இப்போ கோஆப்லாம் விளாட்றோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், சும்மா போயிட்டு தெரு பொடுத்திக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறதுக்கு கிளிச்சூல் அடிக்கிறதுக்கு தான் எடுத்துட்டு போவேன். 1 ஷாட்ல முடிச்சு விட்ருவா கிளிச்சூலை மட்டும். மற்றது எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் அவ்வளோ ஸ்லோவாக அடிப்பா. ஆனால் வந்துட்டு எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரேஷன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ஜாலியாக இருக்கும். இப்போ நாட்டிலலாம் எடுத்துகிட்டு போனாக்க வச்சுக்கோங்களேன் செமையாக இருக்கும். வந்துட்டு லீப் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருக்கலாம். லீப் பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் டக்குன்னு நான் வந்துட்டு சிலோனுக்கு மாறிடுவேன். சிலோனுக்கு மாறினதோட அழகா ஸ்ட்ரைட்டாக ஒரு ஃப்ளோவாக போயிட்டே இருக்கலாம். இப்போ சிலோன் வந்துட்டு இப்போ வெப்பனும் அப்டேன் பண்ணிட்டேன். அதுக்கு லெவல் 80 டேலண்ட் இப்போ தான் 6 போட்டிருக்கேன். நீங்கள் தான் அப்கிரேட் பண்ணணும் எல்லாத்தையும். சிலோன் ஆர்டிஃபேக்ட் வந்துட்டு பார்த்து வச்சுக்கோ ப்ரோ, இந்த ஆர்டிஃபேக்ட் செட்டு தான் போட்டுக்கணும். கேரக்டர் எடுத்துருக்கீங்களா ப்ரோ, வேற லெவல். ஸ்க்ரோல் ஆஃப் தி ஹீரோ சிம்பிளிசிட்டி வந்துட்டு இன்னும் அப்கிரேட் பண்ணலண்ணா. ஆர்டிஃபேக்ட் நான் ஃபுல்லாக காமிக்கல ஹூட்டாவுக்கு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஹெச்பியில் வந்துட்டு கிரிட் டேமேஜ் 6%, கிரிட் ரேட் டிஃபென்ஸ் வந்துருக்கு, அட்டாக் பர்சன்டேஜ். நெக்ஸ்ட்டு 5% 6% 4 கிரிட் ரேட் கிரிட் டேமேஜ். எக்ஸ்ப்ளோருக்கு செம்ம ஈஸி. சிலன்லாம் இருந்தாக்கா எல்லாம் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கலாம். சிலனும் கினேஜ் மட்டும் போதும். கிரிட் டேமேஜ் இதில் தான் ஹெச்பி வந்துட்டு ஹூட்டாவுக்கு மெயினாக ஹெச்பி தான் போடணும்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ரெக்கமெண்டட் அஃபினிக்ஸ்லேயே இருக்கும் ஹெச்பி பெர்சன்டேஜ் தான். 3மே ஹெச்பியாகவும் போடுவானுங்க. இப்போ மாறி இருக்கு போல. ஹெச்பியில் இருந்தால் அவங்களுக்கு ஸ்கேல் பேஸ் ஆகும் அட்டாக்கு. நெக்ஸ்ட் என்ன ஃபேஸாக கேரக்டர் இருக்கு நம்மள்கிட்ட, யூலா. சும்மா அழகா இருக்குங்கிறதுக்காகவே எடுத்து வச்சிருக்கேன் ப்ரோ. மோஸ்ட்லி டேமேஜ் பண்ணுவான், ஆனால் ஃபிசிக்கல் டேமேஜ்லாம் வந்துட்டு அவுட்டேட்டட் ஆன மாதிரி ஆகிட்டு இருக்கு. சிங்கிள் க்ரௌன் மோஸ்ட்லி ஃபிசிக்கல் டேமேஜ் வந்துட்டு அட்டாக்ல தான் நல்லா டேமேஜ் பண்ணுவான். இதுக்கெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு க்ரௌன் போடலாமா என்னன்னு வச்சுட்டு இருக்கேன். மோஸ்ட்லி இந்த பவர் முடியறதுக்குள்ளாட்டையும் அடிச்சு முடிச்சிருவான். இதுக்கப்புறம் ஹூட்டா இது யூலா தேவைப்பட மாட்டான். என்கிட்ட இருக்க 5 ஸ்டார் கேரக்டர் தான் ப்ரோ. டெஹியா அதை பில்டு பண்ணாமலே வச்சிருக்கேன். இப்போ மோனா வந்துட்டு கடைசியாக கிடைச்சது. இப்போ நம்ம ஃப்ரீயா கொடுத்தாங்க பாத்தீங்களா 5 ஸ்டார்லாம். அப்ப அடுத்தது வந்துட்டு கிக்கிங் வந்துட்டு பில்ட் பண்ணணும். எலக்ட்ரோலே இந்த ஒரே 5 ஸ்டார் கேரக்டர் தான் இருக்கு நம்மகிட்ட. இதுபடி எல்லாத்துலயும் இருக்கா. கினீஸ் தான் எடுத்திருக்கணும். இருக்கு ப்ரோ டெய்யாக்கா. ஓகே ப்ரோ. டெய்யா இதுக்கு தான் வந்து ஒன்றாதான் ஒரு என்ன சொல்றது, அது பேர் என்னமோல பிடிஏ தூக்கிட்டு போயிட்டா ப்ரோ. இந்த கிட்டத்தட்ட 80 விஷயம் கிட்ட போட்டதுக்கு அப்புறமால வந்துட்டு ஒரு 5 ஸ்டார் கேரக்டர் நம்மளுக்கு வரும் தெரியுமா. அந்த 5 ஸ்டார் கேரக்டர் இப்போ ஒன்று தான் சரியான டென்ஷன் ஆச்சு. அது என்ன கேரக்டருக்கு புல் பண்ணனே தெரியல. அநேகமா குளோரின்டைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். கடைசி வரையும் குளோரின்டை எடுக்கவே முடியல. அதுக்கு பதிலாக தான் இது கிடைச்சது கிக்கிங்கும் நல்லா தான் டேமேஜ் டீல் பண்ணுவா. ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் பேனர் யாருக்கு இவ்வளோதான் ப்ரோ நம்மள்ட்ட இருக்க ஸ்டாட்டு. மோஸ்ட்லி நான் வந்துட்டு ஹூட்டாவை தான் டிபி சர்வீஸ் பண்ணுவேன். இப்போது சிலன் வந்துட்டு சப் டிபி சர்வீஸ் பண்ணலான்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஒன்று பஃப், இன்னொன்று ஹீலிங் வேற பண்ணுவான். ஹீலிங் பண்ணுவா ப்ரோ முக்கியமாக அல்ட் மூவில் மட்டும் பர்ஸ்ட்டு போட்டோன்னா ஹீல் பண்ணுவான்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இன்னும் வந்துட்டு ஃபுல்லாக அந்த கேரக்டரை பற்றி ஒழுங்காக தெரில எனக்கு. ஏய் டான்ஸ் அப்புறம் பெனி எத்தனை பெனி C2. பெனி ரொம்ப முக்கியம். பெனியும் அப்புறம் மோனாவும் அதுவும் ஹூட்டா வச்சிருக்கனால வந்துட்டு நியூக் பண்றதுக்கு இந்த டீம் தான் கரெக்டா இருக்கும். உன் ஐடி இருக்கா ப்ரோ? ப்ரொஃபைல்ல கேரக்டர் வச்சிருந்தாங்க. ப்ரொஃபைல் நான் பார்க்கலாம் ப்ரோ. எங்கே அது எப்படி பார்க்குறது அதை மறந்துட்டேன். சேஞ்ச் அவுட்டாரு எவ்வளோ இருக்கும்? ரைடன் சீவனா வேற லெவல். சேவ் பண்ணிச்சு. இதெல்லாம் எப்போவோ கிரியேட் பண்ணி வச்சது. அதில் மறந்துட்டேன், இதெல்லாம் மாத்தாமலே இருக்கேன் எப்போ. ஓகே ப்ரோ, ஓகே ப்ரோ, நான் வெயிட் பண்ண ப்ரோ, பொறுமையாக ப்ரோ. Ini 81 இருக்கேன். பத்து கேரக்டர் இருக்கு 5 ஸ்டார். யோ
I'm sure I've forgotten something. Not to worry.
Yeah,
I'll
I
simply send.
We meet again. Thank you so much for all your help.
Nabil, what are you...
Convicts from the desert are being escorted through Caravan Ribat, so I'm here to keep an eye on things. The last few days have been quite the ride, but fortunately, at first, the mercenary groups on the list were... After that...
And?
Well, then we received the Matra, then some of them managed to get out of the academia, but still...
want bro. 2 minutes.
The scattered criminals... I even heard.
Is Sino alright? He didn't get...
He seems fine. He brought over 300... But even if we start feeling all self-conscious... By the way, he was walking with some...
Sure thing, Nabil.
Don't worry about me.
இன்னும் சைனோ முடியல யாரா? இன்னும் மிஷன் முடியல ப்ரோ. ஆபி ஓகே. பிளேயர் நாட் பவுண்ட்னு வருது ப்ரோ. என்ன சர்வர் ப்ரோ வச்சிருக்கே நீ? நான் ஏசியா சர்வர் வச்சிருக்கேன் ப்ரோ. ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்ல முதல்ல கொடுக்கணுமா? ஓகே யூஐடி எய்த்தர் ப்ரோ இதானே ப்ரோ ஐடி? ஓகே முதல்ல ஆட் ஃபோன் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். ஐஷா ஐஷா ஓகே 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 வந்துச்சு ப்ரோ ஓகே ரிட்டன் அட்டாக் ஓகே இப்போ என்ன வைக்கணும்? ஷாவோட வைப்பானா? கிரிட் ரேட்டு ஏன் ப்ரோ கிரிட் ரேட் ஏன் ப்ரோ வச்சது? இதுக்கு வந்துட்டு பேர் என்ன எனர்ஜி ரீசார்ஜ் வைக்கலாம். அந்த சிக்னேச்சர் பண்ணி எடுக்கலையோ? கிரிட் ரேட்டு தேவைதான், ஆனால் எனர்ஜி ரீசார்ஜ் தான் இருந்தாக்கும் ரைடனுக்கு அவ்வளோதான் இருக்கும். ஓகே எவ்வளோ செவர்டு ஃபேட்டு யாரும் அப்பா இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன் வரேன். இங்கே ஹெச்பி அடாடா ஹெச்பியில் கிரிட் டேமேஜ் ப்ரோ வேற லெவல். கிரிட் டேமேஜ் 14 கிரிட் ரேட்டு 13 வேற. நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்துட்டு ஃபெதர்ல அப்பா வேற லெவலா ரோல் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க ப்ரோ. கிரிட் டேமேஜ் 14%, கிரிட் ரேட்டு 13%. செம. கிரிட் டேமேஜ் சர்க்குலேட்ல வந்துட்டு உனக்கு வந்துட்டு இதுல கிரிட்ல எதுவும் ரோல் ஆகல. பரவாயில்ல. எலக்ட்ரோ டேமேஜ் போனஸ் இது. செம ப்ரோ. இந்த இது மட்டும் உனக்கு வந்துட்டு கிரிட் டேமேஜ் இதுல கிரிட் ரேட் செப்பரேட் வந்தாக்கும் வேற லெவல். ஓவராலா எவ்வளோ? ஓவரால் கிரிட் டேமேஜ் வந்துட்டு 129%. நம்மளுக்கு கிரிட் டேமேஜ் வந்துட்டு இப்போ 100% இருக்குனாக்க வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். கிரிட் ரேட் ஒரு 50% இருந்தாக்க வச்சுக்கோங்க. அது வந்துட்டு புரோக்கன் கேரக்டர். உண்மையில கிரிட் ரேட்டு மட்டும் கூட்டுறது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம். கரெக்டான வெப்பன் தான் அது. அதான் நம்மளோட 5 ஸ்டார் எஃபெக்டே வந்துட்டு இதுல எலமெண்டல் பர்ஸ்ட் எனர்ஜி ரீசார்ஜ் உங்களுக்கு இதுலயே வந்துடும். 2 பீஸ் செட் எனர்ஜிலேயே. வேற டேலண்ட் வந்துட்டு 986. ஓகே இன்னும் எப்போ ப்ரோ எடுத்தது ரைடனு? கடைசியா வந்த பேனர்லையா? கான்ஸ்டலேஷன் C1 வேற மாதிரி. அடுத்தது என் தங்கம் மமை ஜீன். அது வந்துட்டு மெயினாக யூஸ் பண்ணுவேன் ப்ரோ. அதெல்லாம் இல்லை. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நான் வந்துட்டு இன்னொரு ஐடியா வச்சிருந்தேன். அதில் வந்து ஜீன் தான் மெயினாக வச்சிருந்தது. இது இன்னும் டெவலப் ஆகும் அப்படி தான் இருக்கு. ஓகே எங்க ஸ்காரமூச். ஓகே 80 லெவலு. வெப்பன் வந்துட்டு கிரிட் டேமேஜ் 50%. இன்னும் ஃபுல் பண்ணலையா ப்ரோ? டெசர்ட் பவிலியன். ஓகே இது என்ன பில்டு பண்ணல? ஓகே இருக்கட்டும், அப்புறம் பில்டு பண்ணு ப்ரோ. நல்லா ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருப்பாங்க. டைனாரி இல்லை நம்மகிட்ட. தங்க குட்டி முறையன்னா இது வந்துட்டு எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணுறதுன்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. இப்போ நம்ம ஸ்கில் போட்டுட்டோம்னா அந்த ஸ்கேட்டிங் போர்டு இதில் வந்துடுறால, அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த பார் ஃபுல் பண்ணி அது உடையிற வரைக்கும் நம்ம அட்டாக் பண்ணணும். அதுக்கப்புறமால எல்லா கேரக்டரும் பஃப் வரும். அந்த மாதிரி தான் இருக்குது இப்போ சில எனக்கு. என்னால் எனக்கு புரிஞ்சது வரைக்கும் சொல்லியிருக்கேன், அவ்வளோதான். இதுவும் ஃபுல் பண்ணியிருக்கலாம்ல. உங்கள் பேர் என்ன? பாண்டைன் ஆர்கான் பேரும் மறந்துட்டேன். ஃப்ரீனா ஃப்ரீனா இருந்தாக்கா ஹைப்பர் ப்ரூம் டீமாக இருந்திருக்கும். இதுவும் இப்போ தான் பில் பண்ணியிருக்கியா ப்ரோ? ஓகே ஹீட்டா 90th லெவலு. ஆர்டிஃபெக்ட்லாம் கரெக்டாக இருக்கு. செட்டு கரெக்டாக போட்டிருக்கேன். வேற மாதிரி 445 2 ஆர்கான் இருக்கு. ப்ரோ ஜாங்கிலி தான் எப்போ வருவான்னு தெரியல. ஜாங்கிலி வந்தா மஸ்ட் புல்லாம் வரலாம். ஷீல்டு வேற லெவல் ப்ரோ. ஆட் ஃப்ரெண்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். 20 சக்ஸஸ் பண்ணிக்க ப்ரோ. டிஸ்கார்டு இருக்கா ப்ரோ உன்கிட்ட? டிஸ்கார்டு இருந்தாக்கா அதில் வந்துட்டு சர்வரில் வந்துட்டு பப்ளிக் சாட் இருக்கும். அதில் வந்து சாட் பண்ணிக்கலாம் நம்ம. ஃபியூச்சரில் வந்துட்டு அப்படியே அப்டேட்ஸும் போட்டுக்கிட்டு இருப்பேன். கொஞ்சம் பார்த்துட்டு முடிஞ்சா சேனலுக்கு ஒரு சப்ஸ்கிரைபர் போட்டு ப்ரோ. அவ்வளோதான். இன்னொரு ஐடி இருக்குன்னியா? 2 ஐடி தானே ப்ரோ? இது வந்து செகண்ட் ஐடியா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஐடியா? வேற லெவல்.
Trying to single-handedly bring 300 people to justice must feel pretty...
I'm aware. However, I learned something unexpected during interrogation. Mortada had lived in his father's shadow all his life.
Second ID, bro?
After Mortada,
second ID, bro. The
organization tried toying with others' minds, treating lives like dirt, and doing anything for their own interests.
Fine, I understand. This is a type of trap I've been working on which uses plants. Here, take some just in case you... If thrown into the mud, the trap will grow rapidly and disperse a pollen that has a paralyzing effect. I don't have much use for the traps these days, but maybe you will, and can help...
Sino! Tainari! Oh, so Tainari must be who Nabil saw earlier. Are you all...
That's right. I also dropped by just to check for any injuries. He's in Sino. Relax.
How is college?
Sino backstory அன்னைக்கு தான் முடிச்சேன். நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. Backstory mode.
But her grades could use some... After some time,
Huh? You mean...
I've asked her to host some ad hoc lectures
Sino,
about the dangers of... Although we've apprehended... So,
I will.
If anything else happens...
I've already caught those who were preparing to attack. Even if some criminals did slip through our fingers, they would... It's still not... I've been thinking about what... I just hope my own change will come slowly. That way, just as I gained courage from my own superiors. And my partner. I'll be fine. There are many things many people want. One day, I'll gather some flowers that grow in arid desert conditions. And...
Okay. Sense of solitude. ஒரு வழியா முடிஞ்சு. ஓகே ப்ரோ. ப்ரோ செகண்ட் ஐடியா தான் எடுத்துட்டு வரலையா ப்ரோ? ஹிட்டர். ஏய் ஓகே ப்ரோ, ஸ்ட்ரீம் என் பண்ணிக்கலாம்னு இருக்கேன். சரி ப்ரோ, நான் மீட் பண்ணுவோம். ஒரு நாள் விட்டு ஒரு நாள் ஒவ்வொரு கேம்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி விளையாடுவேன். இப்போ இன்னைக்கு நான் வந்துட்டு மல்டிப்ளேயர் இந்த மாதிரி காச்சா டைப் கேம் விளாட்றேன்னா, நெக்ஸ்ட் டே வந்துட்டு நான் சிங்கிள் பிளேயர் கேம் விளாண்டுட்டு இருப்பேன். நாளைக்கு வந்துட்டு பார்க்கரை இந்த மாதிரி ஒவ்வொரு கேம்ஸ் விளாண்டுட்டு இருப்பேன். டிஸ்கார்டில் ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. உங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன்ஸும் இந்த மாதிரி அனுப்பிட்டு இருப்பேன். அதை பார்த்துக்கலாம். அப்புறம் பப்ளிக் சாட் இருக்கும், அதில் ஏதாவது சேட் பண்ணிக்கலாம் நீங்கள். ஓகே ப்ரோ, ஆல் த பெஸ்ட், பார்ப்போம். தேங்க்ஸ் ப்ரோ.